Hey guys, so in this case we're going to be using an example that was posted on chandu.org, and basically he has this table right here and he wants to go from this stage to this one. So we see that there's a pattern. Uh, the first row always has dates and the following has actual data that goes with that date. And we see that it is a pointer that is across all that table. And we want to rearrange that table into this one that is more friendly to use with Excel. So in his blog post, he actually used two ways of solving this. The first one is transforming data using formulas, and the other one is actually with PVA. But we don't see any examples using Power Query. Now, I'm going to show you how we can actually use Power Query for this specific case, because Power Query was a tool that was actually created and designed specifically to address this type of situations. And the cool feature is that you're not going to hard code anything. You're not going to be doing anything specific in PVA. This can actually be uh, reproducible for many rows. For many columns, you can actually add more columns, and we can actually add X amount of rows, and I'm gonna show you later how we can actually implement this uh, into something else, something bigger. So for now, we're gonna be using that table as the actual source, and for that, we're gonna go for Power Query from table. It's gonna choose the range, and it's gonna tell us where's the data for your table. It's gonna go from A1 to G12, but my table doesn't have any headers. Now from here, I notice that, well, this is my table, this is what it looks like. And what I want to do is that I want to add a column, an index column. It's just going to give me from 0 to basically the amount of rows that I have in an increment of 1. And the next is add a custom column, which is going to tell me if that index is basically even or not. Or in this case, I'm just going to say that it's odd or not. Gonna use this function which is called number is odd. It's gonna require a numeric value, which is this one. It's just gonna give me a true false. So false is not odd. This is even, even, even. I'm gonna use this custom column to create another custom column, but in this case it's gonna be an if. If custom is really true, then I'm gonna just go with index minus 1. Otherwise, then go with just the index. And what's gonna be doing this basically just create a couple. It's gonna pair them up with just an ID. So basically, this is the record 0. This is the record 2. It's just gonna be an ID. So don't think about it as the actual column name or anything else. It's just a numeric value that's gonna be defining me as to actually group those two rows. Now I'm gonna just delete this one and grab these two, go to transform and go on pivot columns, on pivot other columns. And you see that it's all okay, it's actually all coming along. From here I'm gonna create a new column, but this one is gonna be the actual ID for the row. So the actual ID for the row is gonna be custom.1 and concatenated with attribute. So to do that, as you see here, it's actually all aligned to the right. That means that it's actually a numeric value. In this case, I'm going to transform that numeric value to text using number to text function. You're just going to input that custom one and then concatenate that with attribute. And you're going to get this custom.to column, which is basically just the ID for the row. We no longer need this two, and you're going to notice that this is the ID for the row and this is the position where it goes, whether it's the false columns or the true columns. So in this case, I'm just going to filter this to be false, to be true, and then, well, yeah, and then I'm gonna reuse this. Well, you know what? There's a better way to actually do this. You can actually click here where it says add step. It's gonna be a custom step. And from here, based on custom one, I'm gonna filter this to be just true. I'm gonna do that again, basically, but to be true. So instead of being filtered to be filtered rows, it's gonna be custom one. And here you see that it's actually true. We're gonna change that to one. So basically we're gonna say table select rows based on custom one, which is this one, this step, the table that we actually hold in custom one, and then we're gonna filter that to be false. And this is it. So you can see here that I have all the rows that go in the column A to say something, or the date. And in here we actually have the ones that go on the value. So we need to merge those two. Before we do that, I'm going to rename this to be dataset 2, and this is going to be dataset 1. And we need to merge those two. So we go to Home, Merge Queries, and we're going to be doing some slight hacking. We're going to be doing this. We're basically going to choose this column to be the one that's going to be acting as the matching rows. Basically here it says that we're going to be merging the same query with each other. So basically merging table 1, the current, with the current one. That's just going to be a guide because that's going to give me this formula in here that I'm going to change to actually be how I want it to be. So in this case, I'm going to change this from dataset 2 to dataset 1. And within this table, you're going to see that it actually has the data for the actual value. So we no longer need this two, and we can actually just expand this, but only for the value. And we now have this, so we can actually rename this. This is just the final work. We can actually just click here and go with date, and here we can actually go whole number, and that is it. We can actually just load this data to either the data model, or we can actually just load it to the workbook. And there it is. Now the cool thing about this is that you can actually add more rows. Let's say that we can actually add this, and we add this amount to be here. And we can actually just hit refresh. It's gonna grab all the data, the 84 rows. We can actually check if that's true. Yeah, 84 rows. What if actually I want to add the same, but instead of going rows, I want to go across columns. So we're going to have double the amount of data. So we will have this. I'm going to copy this and just hit refresh. Let's see if we can actually double that. And there we go. So it actually works. You're going to notice that on the latest release of Power Query, you're going to see a bug. Whenever you load the date, it's going to be new dates. It's going to be throwing the general format instead of the actual date format. So to fix that, for now, you can actually just reload it and just click here, load to worksheet, and that should fix the issue. That's for now. They actually file a bug for this, and hopefully we should fix this soon. And that is it. The other cool feature about this is that basically you can use this for loading it to your data model. And then in the next video, we're going to see how we can actually implement this to happen in multiple workbooks at the same time. Thank you.